right? First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Womadak Yahushua. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, which the world calls God, and Yahushua is the name of his only begotten Son, which the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give a strong shalom to all the mighty men that's going out there, they're laboring, right? They're presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice. They're doing all they can to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Not only that, they're enduring the elements and enduring the 100-degree weathers, freezing below codes, right? And everything that's trying to hinder the work of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. Want to give another strong shalom to the Akwath, right? The sisters that are at home, reverencing their husbands, being teachers of good things, and the unmarried sisters as well, being tender, delicate, and on fire for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Last but not least, want to give another strong shalom to the teenagers and children in this truth, doing all they can to make their calling and election sure in these last days, right? Brother Tazamah coming at you with another cold cut through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And the topic of this cold cut is titled, right, it's better to give than to receive, right? It is better to give than to receive, right? And giving is a beautiful spirit you want to be in, all right? A lot of people are stingy. A lot of people are selfish. A lot of people have a spirit of greed on them, covetousness, not caring. A lot of people don't have the spirit of an empath, right? People don't have the spirit of compassion. You want to be in that spirit because Yahweh Shah was in that spirit, man. Yahweh Shah was in a compassionate estate. He had compassion for his people. He was a man of giving. There's many men, mighty men that was known for giving. Giving is a beautiful spirit you want to be in, and that's a characteristic of the elect. First, I want to kick it off with the book of Sirach. Before I go to Sirach, I want to kick it off with Acts, the classic, chapter 20. Right? Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 20, and verse number 35. Right? It's the book of Acts, chapter 20 and 35. It says, I have shewed you all things, how that so laboring ye ought to support the weak. So the Apostle Paul showed the churches support in all things. He helped them out with their needs. He helped them out spiritually with what to do, how to set up certain things in the churches, how to have order, how to have rank, how to have milk bylaws to go by. So the Apostle Paul, he gave a lot through the spirit and power. Now, Paul, he might have not been the best financial state-wise, but he still gave his last when he had it. It says, and to remember the words of the Lord Yahushua, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So out of the mouth of Yahushua, he said it's better to give than to receive. You have to ask yourself, when's the last time you truly gave? And I'm not talking about you just giving because you read that it was a commandment. When was the last time you gave something out the kindness of your heart? Not just when Purim comes around. All right, it's Purim. I'm going to finally give. You haven't gave anything all year, but Purim comes around. Now you want to finally give. No, you should always be in a spirit of giving 24/7. You don't want to be covetousness, right? You don't want to indulge in covetousness. You don't want to have a spirit to, this is for me. You know what? I want to hold on to this. That's the spirit of a wicked man and a wicked woman. You have to ask yourself, when was the last time you seen somebody and you had compassion on them and the spirit of compassion moved upon you and you freely gave to that person? You got to think about all the things that the Most High gave you. Hey, the Lord gave you this truth, man. The Lord gave you clothes on your back. The Lord gave you a stable household. The Lord gave you a mind to serve him. How much more you should be given? All these things the Lord has gave. Hey, the Most High, he's a cheerful giver. Hey, the Lord gives increase. He gives blessings. He sets men up from their low estate. So in the last days, we have to really examine all spirits we should be moving in. You can't just move in the spirit of a mighty teacher and a mighty apostles. You're eloquent in the scriptures and the breakdowns and eloquent in rebuking people. Guess what? It's more to that through the Spirit. I'm going to read that again. It says, I have shewed you all things, how that so laboring ye ought to support the weak, and to remember the words of the Lord Yahushua, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. You have some people on the earth, they think it's better to receive things than to give. You receiving all of these gifts. Oh, I have this stored up. Somebody gave me this. Somebody gave me this. When was the last time you gave something? Right? Let's go to the book of Luke. Right? Chapter 21. Right? Let's go to the book of Luke. Chapter 21. And let's start at verse number 1. Right? Hey, it's people that might depend on you, man. You might have family that looks up to you. And you don't have to just give anything physical. It could be knowledge, wisdom. You could give a phone call. You could give a hug. There's many different things through the Spirit that could come upon you and move you to give something. Right? It's the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 1. It says, and he looked up and saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites. And he said, of a truth, I say unto you that this poor widow hath cast more in than they all. Now you might say, well, hold on. How did she cast more into the treasury than these rich men? It's finna explain itself. Verse 4. For all these have of their abundance cast in unto the offerings of God. So these men only cast in as much as they had because they had a lot. It says, but she of her penury hath cast in all the living that she had. So the reason why she gave more than these rich men, because she gave her last. Would you be willing to give your last to the next person on the drop of a dime? Or are you too selfish and careful of, no, this is mine? And the Lord gave that to you. Just as fast as the Lord gave that to you, guess what? The Lord could take that away. And you could literally uplift somebody's spirit through a gift of the heart. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 19. And this is a spirit. You don't want to be like this man in Matthew, the 19th chapter. Stingy. That's why everybody can't have money. Everybody can't have riches. Everybody can't have certain things because they're not going to do anything with it. They're going to lay these things up for themselves. But as you realize, the Most High, he gives things in abundance to men that are going to do something with it. This is the book of Matthew 19 and verse number 19. It says, honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The young man said unto him, all these things have I kept from my youth up. What lack I yet? So he's saying, hey, I kept all of the commandments. I honor my father and my mother. I did not commit adultery. I never stole. I didn't bear false witness. What else is next? Verse 21, Yahushua said unto him, if thou will be perfect, meaning complete, go and sell that thou hast and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. So this man did all of these things, and you might have never committed adultery. You might have never stole. You might have never bore false witness. You might have never lied to somebody, man. You might have never disobeyed your parents. You might have never ate pork since you came into the truth. Never shaved your beard off. Never broke the Sabbath. But the Lord said, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. Verse 22. But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. Then Yahushua said unto his disciples, verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And again, I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So this man, he did all of these other commandments, but guess what? He fell short in what? And one, which was what? Given to the poor. You would think since this man never committed adultery, surely he should be able to give to the poor. This man never broke the Sabbath. All right. Again, you might have never did certain commandments and broke certain commandments since you came into the truth. But one thing this man couldn't have done was give to the poor. And it shows you what spirit that he had. When you commanded in the law to give to the poor, whether that's the poor physically or that might be the poor in spirit, that might be the less fortunate. Because when you really think about it, you're more blessed 10 times more than others. People you might not look at you a certain way. You might look at you and be humble and move in a humble spirit. But at the end of the day, it's somebody that might want and desire the things that you have. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. And I was talking to a brother on the phone yesterday, and we was going into the spirit of giving, which is a very beautiful spirit to have, which the Most High sees. Right? This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, and verse number 7. And it reads, "If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of the gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut up thy hand from thy poor brother. But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and thou shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, and that which he wanteth. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying." So the Lord said, if you have needs to give, give it. That might be counsel. That might be wisdom, knowledge. That might be something physical, food. At the end of the day, you have to open up thy hand. And you don't want to get a wicked thought in your heart. You got certain brothers, they only give. They look around. Okay, I'm around my brothers, then I'm going to give. You got brothers, they giving stuff, and then they looking at you, watching you so they can see you give to this person. That's not a right spirit. And at the end of the day, you think you're getting away with it, but the Most High is seeing your spirit. You could fool man, but guess what? You cannot fool the Lord. The Lord is looking at all sincere spirits, all contrite hearts. And the Most High is looking on the inward parts. It says, beware that there be not a wicked heart, saying, it's like a wicked thought, a thought in thy wicked heart, saying the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thy eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be sin unto thee. See that? So if you're not able to help somebody in a need out of a pure heart as well, the Lord can hold a sin and a charge against you. It says, verse 10, thou shalt surely give him, and thy heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thy hand unto. And you also don't want to say, well, I'm going to give because I know the Most High is going to bless me. That's off. That's not even a good spirit. Now, yes, the Most High is going to bless you, but you should want to give unconditionally, meaning with nothing in return. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 12. If you're looking for a handout, well, I'm going to just give this because I know the Most High is going to. Guess what, man? Again, the Most High is seeing these spirits. Right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 12. Right? It's the book of Sirach, chapter 12, and verse number 1. When thou do good, know to whom thou doest it, so thou shalt be thanked for thy benefits. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High. You want to do good because you know when you put good out, other people are going to do good back to you. Other people are going to match the same energy. And if not, if you don't get a recompense from that brother, guess what? The Most High is going to bless you. Because the Most High, at the end of the day, hey, the Lord gives the blessings. The Most High gives the increase. But again, you have to be in a correct spirit when you give. Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 6. Right? Let's go to the book of Matthew, the 6th chapter. All right, let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 6 and verse number 1. It says, take heed that ye do not your alms before men to be seen of them. Otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. So all of the men, women, you think you're getting away, you're doing the alms to be seen of men. Anything seen of men is vanity. If you're doing your alms, you're giving away. You don't have to tell a brother that you're giving away. Yeah, I just gave away to this person, da 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 da. Now, brother might say all praise to the Most High, but if you spamming that comment and you keep reiterating that, now it doesn't seem genuine, right? It says, otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Therefore, when thou doest thy alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets. See that? That they may have glory of men. And that's off, man. You making a scene. All right? You making a scene so you could be seen of your good works. But whole time you're a hypocrite. It says, verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But when thou doest alms, let not thy right hand know what let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth, that thy alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret, himself shall reward thee openly. And that's the correct spirit you want to be in. Now, there's nothing wrong with linking up with a brother. You might give charity, you know. I know brothers in their respective congregations, and they give back to the poor, you know, twice a month. Almost every week, they do a giveaway, whether that's a food drive, etc. But it's the things when you're when you're by yourself in your personal life. Those is the things which the Most High is seeing in secret. And guess what? The Lord is going to reward you openly. Let's go to the book of Psalms, right? Chapter 41. Right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, the 41st chapter. Psalms chapter 41. Now you don't want to give to you don't want to just give to anybody. All right, we're gonna say that. We read that in Sirach, the 12th chapter. You don't want to just give to anybody and you give it to a wicked woman. You like her, you interested, and you spending money on purses, lip glosses, getting their hair done. You paying for the damn nails. That's a fool mentality. It's a wicked, you know, it's a brother in your family. All he doing is buying drugs and you giving him money for it, man. Well, the Lord said you got to be a cheerful giver. It's not what it's talking about. That's why the Lord said, hey, when you do good, know to whom thou doest good. Like we said, a lot of people, they don't give gifts, man. A lot of people, they only give things and the want of return of something, which is evil. You want to, when you give, it should be genuinely out the kindness of your heart. Right? It's the book of Psalms 41:1. It says, blessed is he that considereth the poor. The Lord will deliver him in the time of trouble. So it says, blessed is he that considereth the poor. The Lord will deliver him in the time of trouble. When you consider the poor, and it's not always talking about a homeless man. You have many people that are poor in the spirit. You have people that are less fortunate. You have people that are, you know, they're struggling. And we in the trenches, man. We in the ghettos. Look at our communities. There's no love in the communities. In the so-called black community, it's no giving to each other. People only give for Christmas, birthdays, but it's no true state of giving. It says the Lord, verse 2, the Lord will preserve him and keep him alive, and he shall be blessed upon the earth, and thou would not deliver him unto the will of his enemies. So you could be preserved just off giving. Whether that's from the last days to set parables to happen. The Most High might have had an evil that was going to befall you and trouble you. You escaped that to account that you gave one time. There's many different benefits of a pure heart. Right? Let's go to the book of 1 John, chapter 3 and 17. Right? This is the book of 1 John, chapter 3 and verse number 13. And it reads, but whosoever have this world's good and seeth his brother have need, and shut up of his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him? So the love of God can't truly dwell in a vessel that's shut up to compassion. You have certain brothers, they think they don't have to deal with the spirit of compassion because they're from the tribe of Judah. And they're such a mighty man of valor and of war. But brother, how can the love of God even abide inside your spirit? The love of God is not in you. If you see your brother have need, whatever it is, it might be counsel, a favor. It could be anything. How rested the love of God inside you? Guess what? The love of God is not in you. Why? Because you seen your brother have need and you shutteth up his bowels of compassion. You shutted up your hands to him. You was prideful. Guess what? You was selfish. It was all about you. You might as well be like the man in Matthew the 19th chapter, man. You keeping all these other commandments, but when it's time to be made whole, you fold and you run away sorrowfully. Let's go to the book of Proverbs 22 and verse number 9. Right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 22 and verse number 9. Right? This is Proverbs 22 and 9. It says, he that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. So you want to be in the spirit of having a bountiful eye. Hey, it's women in the scriptures like Joanna and Susanna who literally came to support Yahushua and gave gifts. Hey, that's the righteous spirit, man. You have women in the truth. They have bountiful hearts, bountiful eyes. Hey, my grandmother, man, she always kind of just giving. It's a spirit that's inside her. Like we said, everybody don't have that spirit. You got niggards. It's a lot of selfish people, man. It's men I knew in the world that was selfish. It's brothers in the truth that's selfish. You ask a brother, we ain't gonna go into that, but guess what, man? You got a lot of brothers on the low. Guess what? They get selfish. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach 14 and verse number 3. It says, riches are not comely for a niggard. What should an envious man do with money? What is an envious man gonna do with money? He's envious. He's wicked. It's about himself. He always wants what somebody else has. He can't do anything with money. Money is given to those that are gonna do something with it. When you look at a lot of people in the world that have a lot of, we might look at, well, how does he have a lot of money? Guess what? Because he's going to do something with it. That's why. The Most High gave him them riches. The Most High just don't give riches to anybody. The Lord give riches to men that are going to do something with it, that are going to give out to it. They're going to give back to the communities. Now, you could get riches from Satan on the left-hand side as well. Satan could give you riches, but you have to serve Satan for those riches. That's why you have celebrities. They have high amounts of money, but guess what? They're not giving back to their respective communities. They're not giving. They're only giving to their so-called family. They giving back to the rich. What about the poor? What about the people? Why would you give? If you're rich, why would you give to another rich man? Both of y'all are already rich. It wouldn't make any sense. It would be wise for you to give back to the poor. But guess what? That's how you know those riches are of Satan. But the riches that come from the Most High is going to be in the spirit of giving this and spreading it to somebody else. That's why the Lord say, freely give as ye have freely received. All the things that you freely received, you might as well freely give those things, man. Because at a moment, guess what? Riches could fly away like a bird. Like it tell you in the book of Proverbs. It's here today, going tomorrow. I'd rather one day have riches, knowing it's going to be going tomorrow, and give it out, rather than keep it for myself. Next thing you know, the riches are gone, and I can't do anything with it. What sense does it make? Let's go to the book. See what I want. Tobit. Right? Let's go to the book of Tobit. Right? Tobit was a very, very righteous man of alms deeds. Right? Let's go to the book of Tobit. Chapter 1 and verse number 10. It says, and when we were carried away captives to Nineveh, all my brethren did, and those were of my kindred did eat the bread of the Gentiles. But I kept myself from eating because I remembered God with all my heart. And the Most High gave me grace and favor before Emirsar, that I was his purveyor. Right? Jumping down to verse number 16. And in the time of Messiah, I gave many alms to my brethren, and gave my bread to the hungry, and my clothes to the naked. And if I saw any of my nation dead, or cast about the walls of Nineveh, I buried him. Now Tobit is in captivity. Did anybody ask Tobit to do this? No. Tobit did this of a willing and free and a kind heart. He didn't have to give off his clothes to his neighbor, man. Give his clothes off his back. Take his shoes off his feet. Give to the hungry. It says, and if the king Sennacherib had slain any, and he was come and fled from Judea, I buried them privately. For in his wrath he killed many, but the bodies were not found. When they were sought of the king, sought of the king, and when one of the Ninevites went and complained of me to the king, that I buried them and hid myself, understanding that I was sought for to be put to death, I withdrew myself from fear. Then all my goods were forcibly taken away, neither was there anything left beside my wife and my son Tobias. So Tobit had everything taken away. Now, regardless, through the spirit, Tobit was already going to get everything taken away. But guess what he did before he got those things taken away from him? He gave. So it's basically a plus, because at least I get to give this off before it's going to be taken away from me anyway. You don't want to be like the man in Luke the 12th chapter, which we're going to get, and you just laying up riches from yourself. Let's go to the book of Tobit, chapter 12. Tobit, chapter 4. Let's start at verse 8. I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, give alms of thy substance when thou givest alms. Let not thy eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any of the poor, and the face of God shall not be turned away from thee. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to thy little. And sometimes you might not even have a lot. You might have $10 to your name. All right. You might have a couple cents on you, a few dollars on your credit card. You might be tired. Brother asks you for counsel. You exhausted. But guess what? Don't be afraid to give that little. We just read in Luke the 21st chapter. You can link that up with Mark the 12th chapter, 41 on down. How the woman cast in 2 mites, and that was all that she had. And she gave more than the men that gave abundance, because it was her what? It was her last. It says, verse 9, for thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity, because that alms do deliver from death, and suffer not to come into darkness. So alms could save you. Giving could save a life. It can save you from trouble that's set to befall you in the future. It says, beware of, I'm going to start at verse 11. It says, for alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High. Just link that up with the book of Tobit, chapter 12. Right, it's the book of Tobit, chapter 12, and verse number 8. It says, prayer is good with fasting, and alms with righteousness. A little righteousness is better than much unrighteousness. It is better to give alms than to lay up gold. For alms doth deliver from death, and shall purge away all sin. A lot of times, a lot of brothers, they have stuff stored up. It's a lot of stuff that you don't use. We encourage brothers and sisters to give. Right? If you have things in your house you don't use like that, you can't fit anymore, and it's just laying up dust, hey, go give that out, man. Somebody else, you might not be able to use it, but guess what? Somebody else can use it. It could be beneficial to somebody else. That could make somebody else day. Growing up, we didn't have it. Like, growing up, me personally, I didn't have it like that. Now, mom, she always made sure we had, the mics and, certain decent things like that. But as a teenager, it was times where it got real rough. We didn't have anything. And a lot of people, they didn't have the spirit to give us anything. Not that anybody would. So if I didn't get anything like that growing up and we was down bad, guess what? There's many other people that was in the same shoes, if not now, that I was. And now I had the opportunity to give back to them, because guess what? I know how it feel. I know how it feel to have wear the same shoes every day. I know how it feel, you only got 2-3 pair of uniforms, and that's it. You don't have to, you got certain stuff. It might not be the best, but, you got some, but it's only a little. We know what it's like to have that. So guess what? We're able to relate to their situation because we was in those same shoes. And guess what? Now we able to change a life. That's what it's about. Let's go to let's read on. Tobit chapter 12 and verse number 9. 9. It says, for alms doth deliver from death, and shall purge away all sin. Those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life. So you could be filled with life, the spirit, livelihood. All right. Again, that's a way to purge sins from you. That's a way to get iniquities off of you. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 12. All right, we encourage brothers, if you are in the body, give to your treasury, man. You have a treasury, guess what? Brothers depend on that treasury. Brothers use the treasury to travel. Brothers use the treasury for feast days. The treasury is a mighty office, and you want to give to the treasury. I don't care if it's $1 a week, $5, whatever you have, give to the treasury. You want to put something into the treasury, because if not, you're not going to be filled with life. Next thing you know, you have a school, you can't pay for the finances. The treasury is milked. All right, all hell is breaking loose. You got men robbing the treasury, right? So this is Luke chapter 12. All right, let's go to the book of Luke, the 12th chapter. All right, it's the book of Luke, chapter 12, and verse number... I'm going to start at verse 16. I'm going to start at verse 15. And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness. For a man's life consists of not in the abundance of things which he possesseth. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. So this man was rich. He maybe had it all. You know, he had it going on. He's saying, well, guess what? Where am I going to bestow my fruits at? And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater. And there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. So his mind was bad. If he had all of these things, the wisest thing for you to do, man, I got all of this stuff. Man, I'm finna get this stuff away. Hey, Jake, on a carnal level, at least try to throw it away. This man, he wants to build greater so he can have more and more and more and more. It says, and I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thy ease, eat and drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? See that? He didn't even know the Lord was finna take the spirit from him. He was finna be in the spirit world. Now are the riches which he laid up for himself, that's gonna be given. That's gonna, either way, it was gonna be given to somebody else. Because when you die and you leave this earth, you can't take nothing with you when you leave this earth. Right? I'm gonna finish it out, verse 21. So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6. Either way is gonna go somewhere else. What about, look at King Solomon. King Solomon had his house. He had gold laid up. He had the treasures, the menorahs. Guess what? King Solomon is no longer here. He passed away, and those riches went to somebody else. That's just how it goes. Let's go to the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, and verse number 7. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. Right? And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, into too many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, while some have covered it after they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. So you want to have the mindset is, I brought nothing into this world. All of this stuff eventually is going to go. I can't take none of this stuff with me. That's why men set up wills. That's why men, they have inheritance set up to pass on to their children. Why? Because you're not going to be here forever. Eventually, it might be your day to go. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. All right, let's go to Ecclesiastes. Um, yep. I'm not going to read this whole chapter. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, this is a beautiful chapter. Basically, Solomon is going into all the things that he have gathered up and built up, and vineyards he had and gardens. And we're going to start at verse 17. It says, therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me. For all is vanity and vexation of spirit. Yea, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun. Now you might ask, like, Solomon, what do you mean you hated your labor? You have all of these gardens, all of these vineyards. You have all of these different things that you built up, gold. You labor, you worked for this. Why are you upset? It says, because I shall leave it unto the man that shall be after me. And who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Yet shall he have rule over all my labor, wherein I labored. I have shewed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. Therefore I went about, because my heart to despair all the labor which I took under the sun. Because you don't even know all the labor that you get. It's probably going to get to a rich man. It's probably going to be given to a fool. The world may never know. Again, just letting you know, you can't take this. A lot of this stuff, you can't. A lot of you brothers, you attach to too much stuff. You want to detach yourself, because when it's time for you to die, you can't take this stuff with you, man. All of this stuff is temporary. You got to have the spirit of being able to let things go on a dime, right? Look at Lot's wife. You know, she got destroyed because she couldn't let something in Sodom and Gomorrah go. She had nostalgia, man. All right? She had nostalgic, the spirit of nostalgia came upon her. She looked back, and the Most High destroyed her. You didn't bring nothing into this world, you can't take nothing out. It is what it is. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 4, and verse number 1. Right? It's the book of Sirach. See Jake going off. Right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 4, and verse number 1. It says, my son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not the needy eyes wait long. Make not a hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress. Add not more trouble to an heart that is vexed, and defer not to give him that is in need. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from a poor man. Turn not thy eye from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee. For if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayer shall be heard of him that made him. See that? And the you know, it get deeper when you read on. The point is, somebody could curse you, all because you don't have a bountiful eye. You're not in the spirit of giving, right? You're not in the spirit of wisdom. All right, somebody said only to Israelites, right? Right? I mean, yeah, you want to chiefly give to your people. You don't want to be given to, the other nations. But if you got an extra bag of chips, it's 3 bags of chips. Esau, he had to so-called plant, he had the plantation, which we asked him to get a bag of chips. Hey, it's up to you whether you want to give it to him or not. All right, might say, here, go ahead. But you don't want to be just, oh, nah, you're Esau. No, you're not getting none of my chips. I mean, come on, brother. You want to move in wisdom, but you want to chiefly give to your brethren, right? The children of thy people, the children of Israel. All right, let's get one more precept before we close out. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 19. All right, let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 19 and 17. He that have pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and he that have given will he pay him again. So when you give to the poor, guess what? You giving to the Lord. You giving to Yahushua. That's Matthew the 25th chapter, 40 all the way on down. So again, you want to be in the spirit of giving, not just for Purim, but yearly, 24/7. That's a beautiful spirit to have, and that's a special and rare spirit in these last days, right? But with that, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Kwamadak Yahushua. Lord, whether this video was edifying, continue to read, pray, fast, study. Most importantly, beseech the Heavenly Father for his mercy. With that, I'm going to say shalom.